Fake it until you make it. That's what I'm going to speak about today. The other day I bumped into a video. I do not remember the title of the video, but I did keep a comment from that video. And that comment was, I quote, "The best advice I've heard from a video. Practice being who you wish to become until you slowly morph into that person. Act like them, talk like them, eat like them, wake up like them. Be that person until there is no distinction between the two. See yourself in what you want to be and take a step day by day until you are what you want it to be." End of quote. Okay, so let's break this down. The best advice I've heard from a video: practice being who you wish to become until you slowly morph into that person. It kind of is fake it, because if you are not charismatic and you want to be charismatic, you'll have to fake being charismatic until you kind of become charismatic. That's why I call this "fake it till you make it" the topic of today's video. But this is a very interesting thing. Practice being who you wish to become until you slowly morph into that person. So let's assume that you want to be a UFC world champion. You gotta practice being a UFC world champion. What do I mean by this? What the heck does a UFC world champion does? I mean, odds are they barely miss any days. Like, let's maybe change the example. You want to be an Olympic swimmer, the greatest Olympic swimmer of all time. We all know who that man is. I don't recall his name now. Yeah, Michael Phelps. I heard something about Michael Phelps not missing a single swim session for over 5 years or whatever it was. You gotta practice becoming an Olympic swimmer. You gotta get to the pool every day. Hit the weights. I think he also hit the weights 3 times a week or whatever the heck it was. So you'll be faking being an Olympic swimmer for years until you become that person. Same thing with the UFC champion, training 2-3 times a day, eating clean, all of that bollocks. Act like them, talk like them, eat like them, wake up like them. Well, in your version of events, what do you act like as a UFC world champion, if that is your wish? How do you talk? How do you eat? What time do you wake up? This is a very good quote, because I think that a lot of us, we don't get to our goals because we say stuff like, I'm just using this as an analogy, when I get rich, I'll do that. When I get rich, I'll then wake up on time because I can afford to go to sleep before getting all my work done or whatever, because I won't be as suffocated by the pressure and blah, blah, blah. While you should just be the person that you envision yourself being when you are rich. So if you're a person who doesn't give a crap about schedules, just goes to sleep whenever the heck he wants, wakes up whenever the heck he wants, just knows that gets his work done, and that's how you should act. Obviously, sometimes you can't do that 100% because maybe you got a job, you got responsibilities, but you got to try to be that person actively as much as you can. Now, I'm not saying this for you to do it. I'm just talking to myself, for me, to think about how I can apply this in my life, how I can get this done in my life. And that's what I'll speak about in the next video.